Good morning. Okay, so we have been preparing to write a narrative. We have talked about adjectives and how to be descriptive and um, how to help your audience to feel a part of the story. We've talked about how to write dialogue um, the proper way, which can be a little confusing. And then the last thing we talked about was transitions and how the transitions help make your story flow more smoothly. Well, this is our last little mini lesson before we start writing our narrative. And we're going to talk about verb tense. So, as you wrote your paragraphs, I noticed that you would start your stories in past tense and then all of a sudden flip your verbs to present tense, and then you'd go back to past, and then you'd go back to present. And it's very confusing as a reader when the author keeps switching back and forth between past and present tense. Your story either takes place in the past or it takes place in the present, but it cannot be both. So once you decide what what place the story is going to, when the story is going to take place, you have to keep the same verb tense throughout the entire story. So we're going to practice that a little today. Um, let's look at, and remember to find out um, whether the story is in present, past, or future. You always look at the verbs. Okay. Now, we're not going to I've never even heard of a story taking place in the future as far as written in future tense. Okay. Um, so we're not even going to bother with that. It's either it's happening right now and you write it using present tense verbs, or it's happening in the past and you use past tense verbs. I'm going to tell you it's easier to keep everything in past tense. So I would recommend that, but I'm not going to say you have to. All right. So let's look at some paragraphs and we're going to see um, what tense this is written in. Okay, it says the sun sparkled off the still water, reflecting the cloudless sky. The breezy scent of summer flowers rustled the boy's golden hair as he threw a small flat stone. The pebble sailed through the air, shining in the sun like a crystal. As it touched the surface of the water, it gently bounced. It danced on the shimmering mirror, sending ripples through its calm face. With every leap, the water splashed. With one final jump, it sinks like an old ship to the bottom of the pond. All traces of the stone are gone, hidden beneath the smooth water. All right, so let's find out what tense this is written in. So you start right away with the very first verb, and it says sparkled. Well, the root word is sparkle, and then you drop the E and add ED. So what tense is that? Well, that is past tense. So then we have to make sure that the rest of the story is written completely in past tense. So the sun sparkled off the still water, reflecting the cloudless sky. Good. The breezy scent of summer flowers rustled. Here's another verb because each sentence has to have a verb. Rustled, that is past tense. The boy's golden hair as he threw. There's another verb. Okay, as he threw a small flat stone. The pebble sailed through the air, shining. Oh, sailed. Sorry, because that's the verb. Shining in the sun like a crystal. Now, we don't look at shining because it's more of a participle and it's a phrase there, but the verb is sailed. That shows that it's past tense. As it touched the surface of the water, it gently bounced. See, all of these are past tense. So you have to keep it past tense. It danced on the shimmering mirror, sending ripples through its calm face. With every leap, the water splashed. Oops, sorry. I always do that. With one final jump, it sinks. Hmm. There's where all of a sudden it changes. And I don't know if you noticed it when I was first reading it, but I did, because as I read it, I stopped myself because it just didn't sound right. Because all of a sudden we're talking about everything happening like it already happened, and then we switch. With one final jump, it sinks like an old ship to the bottom of the pond. Well, no, it. So this should be it sank. Okay. So with one final jump, it sank like an old ship to the bottom of the pond. All traces of the stone, oh, not are gone, were gone. Okay. All traces of the stone were gone, hidden beneath the smooth water. Okay. So I know some of you, as you were reading it, probably were like, oh, I didn't even notice that. Well, I do. And if you don't notice it, then you really need to pay attention more, um, to every verb that you write, making sure that it's past tense. If you start, okay, it's whatever you start your story with. If you start it with past tense, then you keep it past tense throughout your entire story. Okay. If you start present tense, well, then you keep present tense throughout your entire story. But it has to be the same verb tense throughout your story or paragraph. Okay. I'm going to skip that one because I want to go to this one, because this is present tense. I wake up. So right away, we can tell this is present tense because it's happening right now. I wake up in the morning and smell what I absolutely love, pancakes. The aroma of them cooking on the stove reaches my nose. Okay, so present tense. I know I skipped one. Smell also is present tense. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why I did that gray instead of yellow. Okay. Um, I think I'm just going to point them out to you instead of, because it takes too long. So on the stove, it reaches my nose and wakes, okay, present tense me up instantaneously. I make my way into the kitchen and can hear my mother flipping them into the air and singing her favorite song. Okay, so far, all present tense. Immediately, I see the golden mound of pancakes on the counter. My mother tells me, okay, if it was past tense, it'd be told me, but my mother tells me to dig in. So I grab, still present tense, two soft and fluffy circular discs and slap, still present tense, slap them on my plate. I pour on the thick sweet syrup, grab my fork and knife, and plop a piece in my mouth. All of those present tense. The taste is present tense, absolutely phenomenal. The combination of butter, syrup, and rich pancake overtakes my mouth, and I am in complete bliss. I really love pancakes. Okay, so all of these verbs are present tense because it is happening right now. Okay, which this is more difficult to sustain or keep going throughout your whole story, the present tense. It is possible, but it is more difficult. So I would suggest when we start writing our story that you do past tense, but I'm going to leave that up to you. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Okay, so on Google Classroom, I'm going to have this assignment. Okay. And what I want you to do, it says when writing a story, you need to make sure you keep the same verb tense throughout the story. Read the paragraph below. This story should be written in the past tense. Determine which verbs are not written in the past tense. Highlight them and write the correct form of the verb above it. Hint, there are 11 verbs that need to be changed. Okay, so this is what they're going to do with paper and pencil, but because you're going to do it um, online, I'm going to change it. And I want you to still highlight the verb, but don't write it above it, just replace it. So, in other words, the story determine which verbs are not written in the past tense, highlight them, and write the correct form of the verb. And just write the correct form of the verb. I'm not going to say above it. Okay? Because what I want you to do, let's do the first ones together. Okay? My friends and I arrived at the corn maze ready for an exciting adventure. Okay, arrived, past tense. There are three different mazes that we could explore. No. Are is present tense. We want past tense. So I'm going to highlight this by doing that, but I'm going to change it to were. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. There were three different mazes that we could explore. Okay, so still highlight it by if you take your cursor and go over it, go up to the highlight color. Okay, so highlight it, but then change the word. Okay, because I don't want you to do it above it. That's going to be a pain. Just actually change the word. Okay, so I've already done the first one for you. There are 11 verbs that you need to change, so you have 10 more verbs to change. Okay, make sure that they're past tense. So you're looking for any that are written in present tense and you want to change them to past tense. Okay, um, I think that's it. All right, enjoy.